Yeah.
Hey y'all, today we are making a jackfruit barbecue pizza and we're also making some vegan Nashville hot wings. Here are all the seasonings that we're going to be using, and we're first going to start off with our oyster mushrooms, which will be our meat substitute. We're going to be using some oil, and we're also going to be using a list of our seasonings. All the seasonings and such will be listed on our website. This is garlic powder, onion powder, umami, paprika, chimichurri, and we also have some black pepper. We're going to also use some vegan chicken bouillon. I'll have a link below where you can find it at. We're also going to take our chickpea flour, and we're going to add in some arrowroot to that prior to, massaging our oyster mushrooms. And what the arrowroot does is it creates a nice crisp on anything that you really fry. Arrowroot is basically like a cornstarch substitute. So what I'm doing now, I'm just massaging those oyster mushrooms prior to placing them inside the fridge. This will be my marination, and I'm just making sure, all the seasonings get nice and in all those crevices of those oyster mushrooms, especially if you're not used to mushrooms, you want to season them up. So we're going to add in some oil to our cast iron skillet, and we have some jackfruit from a can that's been thoroughly drained. When I mean thoroughly, I mean thoroughly. Make sure you wring that thing out, okay? And we're going to add in our vegan chicken bouillon to this. All right, y'all, so we added in our vegan chicken bouillon, and I'm just getting all of it off of that spoon, as you can see. And what I'm doing is I'm chopping it up with my wooden spoon. Be careful what y'all use on your pots and your pans, because y'all don't want to mess them up. But here we are. We have that vegan chicken, which is our jackfruit. And we're basically just scraping the pan as we go along. Scrape, 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 because all of them goodnesses and all those seasonings are going to be charred on the bottom. And we want to make sure that we have all of that a part of our jackfruit, because that's where the flavor is, okay? And as you go along, you can add, oil as you go. Here it is. It's looking nice and beautiful, very vibrant. It's creating a nice color. And I will suggest using a cast iron skillet if you don't have one. I'll post a link below so that you can get one. I highly recommend you using it as a part of one of your main sources of, potwares. Okay, here we are. It's nice and charred. At this point, I believe I just left it as is. I charred it a little bit more, and then, I turned it off to get to the next thing, which will be, as you can see, it got way nicely more charred. But here we are. I'm just going to be spraying some canola oil on a larger cast iron skillet, and we're going to be adding on our pizza dough. This is the store-bought pizza dough that I found at our local ShopRite. You can find it, I'm pretty sure, at any market. Just make sure that it has no type of dairy products in it or whatnot. Make sure you always look at your packaging. But here we are. I was opening on the side. That's what took me so long. But here we are. Here is the pizza crust. And this pizza crust came out fairly well. I'm not going to hold y'all. It was a square shaped, but it came out nice and fluffy. Like, it was a nice pizza dough. It wasn't really like thin how you would expect some of these pizza doughs, like if you were to buy one from a store type time, But I'm just spreading it on out, all the way, as much as I can, at least. Right, so here is the pizza. I end up forgetting to record it. I messed up. But we have the sauce, the vegan mozzarella. We have the purple onions, the yellow bell peppers, and then we have that smoked jackfruit that we have on top. Look how good that look. And what we don't end up doing is adding some tomato sauce on top of this. This is a regular, organic pizza sauce. You can find at any market, really. And we're going to top it with that mozzarella. And we also topped it with some vegan parmesan. I would highly suggest using that vegan parmesan because it adds that bite that you need when you eating, pizza. Sometimes we like to resort back to when we did used to eat dairy or when we did used to eat chicken. And then when I tell you it gives you like that bite that you'll be missing from that cheese, it does. So add it. use it. Okay, so we have the purple onions, and then we're also going to top it along with some more yellow bell peppers. And after this, we are done with this. This just needs to go inside the oven and bake. Yeah, she had to make sure it was like so perfect, but she did a good job. That's the lettuce on this pizza. Look at that. And what we're going to do, we're going to get started on those oyster mushrooms that were marinating inside the fridge. Look how good they look. We're going to use that chickpea and that arrowroot flour that we had. And we're going to make sure that we squeeze these oyster mushrooms. That ensures that your coating and your breading is on there nice and perfectly. Not completely perfect, but here's another piece that I use. Here's a larger piece. Sometimes I even press it just to make sure all of that juice comes out and that you get a nice coating on whichever meat substitute you decide to use, okay? And we're going to place these inside the air fryer, and we're going to top them with some canola oil or whatever, you know, oil of your choice. Spray it, spray it, spray it, okay? And we bake this for about, well, air fried it, maybe about 10 minutes, and then we drizzled on some all-purpose seasoning. This was just for aesthetics, really. It gave it a nice little color. All right, and here is the pizza right outside of, not right outside the oven. As soon as it came out the oven, and we just sprinkled a little fresh parsley on top. Look how good that looked. And we also put some sunflower and kale microgreens. This is something that we usually use for most of our meals. Any type of microgreens or sprouts. So good. Wow. And that cheese is nice and melted. Yes, look at that jackfruit. The char on that jackfruit. Even on those peppers and those onions. Wow. We did the damn thing on this, John. But what we end up doing is melting some butter and placing it on our crust. It gave it a nice extra kick of flavor. And it made the picture look beautiful. It made it look even more desirable than what it already was. And I highly suggest doing it. You can even add some garlic to it. You can add some Parmesan to it. Whatever you would like, really. Make it yours. Do what you got to do to satisfy you and yours. Okay? And what we're going to do, we're going to get to these oyster mushrooms. And with the oyster mushrooms, the sauce that we use the Nashville hot sauce. When I tell you this Nashville hot sauce was extra hot, I had to add in some maple syrup in order to make it, you know, fit our needs. But it worked. And we're going to drizzle this on top of those freshly fried, air-fried oyster mushrooms. And we're going to place it back inside the air fryer. And we're going to let it caramelize and really get into the skin of the oyster mushrooms that we created. Okay? And here we are. It is all done, as you will see in the next slide. These came out oh so bomb. If you like this recipe, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, because we're going to have recipes coming back and forth to you all week long. You know, I love to cook. We love to cook, and this is what we do, okay? And if you have any suggestions, make sure you comment below and let us know. Alrighty. Thanks, and holla.